Good evening, everyone. It's Lisa Schmitz with Do Something Indy. We're kind of intermittent right now with these shows just because we have a lot of stuff going on, but I am super excited about tonight's interview. We have Melissa Lebo, who has been hosting a recovery meeting with a group of folks at our Mars Hill Art Center on a weekly basis for some time now. What you might not know is one of our original mission and values with our nonprofit was to resource or host things that could address addiction and addiction recovery. And so what she is doing fits right into our mission and what we're doing and what we're providing for this community on the southwest side of Indianapolis. And so without further ado, producer Johnny, bring on Melissa.
Hi.
Hi. How are you tonight?
I'm here. I've worked all day, but I'm here.
Good. And I'm so glad that you're here. So I want to just start off with your personal story. And then that I think will lead into what you're doing at the Art Center.
Right. So I am, man, I
know there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, I had all these answers earlier where they were just rolling right off, but now they're just like stuck.
Yeah.
So I am a felon. I have a criminal background, which has really hurt me in the long run, right? I did some time in prison, and when I stepped foot into the prison, I decided that I wasn't going to come out being the same person I was that I went in. So I did everything possible that I could do while I was there to better myself. I took resilience classes. I went to any AA meeting that was absolutely available to me. I did grief counseling. I did the Cliff program while I was there to learn all the tools that I needed to do to succeed, to stay sober. And next month, I will have 13 years of being sober.
Woohoo! I'm high-fiving you from afar.
Yay. So, that's, kind of where I have been in my life that I decided I was going to change it.
So when... Can I be personal and ask you how much time you served?
I did 4 years. My plea was 12, suspend 2, which meant I had to do 10 years. Oh. But I did 5, do 10, basically is what it was. I did 4 years and got 2 time cuts while I was in there. I got a 6-month time cut for the Cliff program. And I also did the Adopt program in Madison, which was a dog on prison turf. And so I am also a certified groomer and dog handler. So I got another 6 months for that. So I did a total of 4 years. Also, I did my work release while I was in prison in Madison.
Okay. Wow. So tell me what the Cliff program is, because that's not an acronym or a term that I'm familiar with.
Okay. So Cliff is Clean Lifestyle is Freedom Forever. And it's basically a, I tried to think of what this word was the other day, and it's, basically what they did is they put the Cliff program in a separate dorm from everybody else, and they isolated us, and we did nothing but focus on our recovery.
Okay.
So and it was more based on, they have GRIP also, which is also a recovery thing that they do in some of the prisons, but Cliff is basically dealt with methamphetamines.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, okay, so what was the first thing that you did when you got out?
Wow. Isolated myself for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I was very nervous about being back on the streets again.
Mm-hmm.
Then I tried to find a job.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. And also get my driver's license.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 biggest things. And trying to find a job was the most difficult thing I was up against.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about your experience now with Goodwill. But was that where you ended up first?
No.
Came out?
Well, it was my first job. Yes, I had applied at other different places, and once they saw that I'm a felon, they saw all of that, then it was like, nah, I don't think we want her. But
Yeah.
then I got my interview with Goodwill, and man, my whole life changed.
Yeah. So I want to stop right there real quick because this show obviously is about you, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say this is going to be hard for me to not get emotional as
Yeah.
you tell your story. Because I've been in human resources for 30 years in Indianapolis, and I know your plight. I know what employers are looking at. I know the strategy they go through when they're doing applications and you apply online. And once
Right.
that background check comes in, if you hit certain things on that background check, then you're automatically ruled out.
Yeah.
I hired two people so we had what we called a stoplight strategy. So it was red, yellow, green. Green obviously is nothing on the background check. Red is all of the things that prevent me as an HR person from even using my own reasoning to make that decision. Yellow is that there's some stuff on here, but you might want to be careful about hiring them, but we'll let you make that decision. So I have two people that everyone around me said, don't hire them, don't hire them. And they both were successful in their careers. One ended up being a supervisor. One led our safety committee. I mean, the chance that they get when they come out, if they're committed to making that change, can be transformative. And thinking about those people and then thinking about your situation, the fact that you got a chance at Goodwill, I mean, how did you feel when they called you and said, you've got the job?
Oh, I cried.
Yeah.
So basically what I did was I went in for my interview, and I explained the situation, told them what I did, why I got sent to prison.
Yeah.
And I said, I just need somebody to give me a chance.
Yeah.
I said, I promise you, I will give you 110% every day that I'm here.
Yeah.
And in March, I'll have 9 years of being with company, and every day I still give 110%.
I love it so much. Okay. So now let's go to the Goodwill part of the story.
Okay.
So give our viewers an idea of what Goodwill does. So they're not just hiring you for a job.
Right.
They're also providing resources for you for your recovery, right?
Not so much with my recovery.
And I mean from incarceration, not necessarily from any addiction, but they're giving you tools, right, to help you restore your life.
We have a program called the New Beginnings Program, which is a reentry program, which just came out like several years ago. We've just only now had it in effect. So that wasn't there for me when I did it, but I just started out as a basic cashier.
Yeah.
And worked my way up. Within 30 days, I started out as a part-time cashier. And then within 30 days, I became full-time in production. And within my 90 days, I became a team lead while I was fighting cancer. So,
oh my gosh.
And since then, we have mission coaches, which is another part of our resources that we have. And they come in, they talk to you, they want to see what your goals are, help you with your financials, get you in a financial plan, just find out where your next steps are going to be and what they can do to help get you to where you want to be. My short-term goal was to become a site lead within 5 years. And I did it within 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So I recently just got promoted again to a bigger store, which, this is my 6th store I've been to. So I've been training, this whole time at going to different stores, being with different site leads, learning different cultures and different stores. But so this was huge for me because I went from a real small store to a big store.
Yeah.
And I went from having 30 employees under me to now I have 60 employees under me.
Oh, goodness.
So it's been a challenge the last couple of weeks, but it's good.
I just am so excited for you. I mean, I'm a fan of Goodwill as a shopper, but also as a community member, just knowing what they do to help you guys basically start a new life, learn a new skill set, create a new career for yourself. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a retail background as well. So I worked for Dillard's department stores for 13 years. And so I look at Goodwill as a retail model of sustainable product. So
Right.
this is product coming from someone's home that, maybe someone passed away, or we're decluttering, or we're downsizing, or what have you, but it's still a retail environment. So you're
Right.
learning customer service, you're learning merchandising, you're learning stocking, all those things, and you're getting your life back.
Yes. So, and a lot of people don't know all the resources that Goodwill has and all
Yeah.
the different areas that they have. We have the community services buildings. We have our CSEP programs, our nurse family partnerships. We have our Excel centers. There's so many things that Goodwill does outside of being a retail store.
Right.
But all they have to do, we appreciate so much the shoppers for doing the roundups and their donations that they send in, because that's what funds all our different programs that we have to help the community.
Yeah. I think so many people don't realize that part of it. They think it's just a place for us to take the things we don't want.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
someone else is going to buy them. They don't think about all of the resources that are behind the scenes. Speak to that a little bit. So what would you say would be the one program within Goodwill that really helped you the most?
My mission coach.
Okay.
So my mission coach helped me financially, talk to me about my finances, helping me build up to what I wanted to do. And last year I was going through a divorce, and the biggest thing was housing. Because I'm a felon. Nobody wants to rent to felons.
Yeah.
And so they helped me get my plans. I even had some of the bigger ups help me to understand what it is to buy a house. And so I bought my first house last year.
Oh, I love that so much.
So yeah, it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I knew this story was going to be good, and you and I have talked a lot, but there's so many things about this that as you're talking, that I didn't know. And I'm just so thrilled, even more thrilled for you.
Yeah,
okay. So you've talked a lot about the Goodwill experience.
Yeah. And if you want to know any more, go to goodwillindy.org, and there we'll give you some more help.
Absolutely. So I was going to ask you before I give the plug, what would you say, just for the ordinary citizen, not necessarily someone who is maybe coming out of prison or, a reentry program or whatever, what could maybe some people that are just down on their luck, looking for a job or looking for resources, what other things does Goodwill offer that might be valuable to folks?
In my position that I'm in, my way to give back into the community is that I hire felons. I hire recovering addicts.
Yeah.
Those are my top ones because, they're the ones that need the second chance.
Yeah.
And Goodwill's mission is all about being and giving second chances.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, well, I think I just introduced you to this show recently, but about a year ago, maybe I interviewed another young woman who has done a lot within the reentry system. And she worked for PACE for a while and things like that. So we talked a lot about how these programs and resources are so necessary. And one of the reasons I asked you what was the first thing that you did when you came out, she talks about how people that have been in for a long time, when they come out, there's so many things about the world that have changed, like self-checkout at a grocery store. Someone may have never, cell phones, different app technology, things like that. So I can't imagine how frightening that might be to all of a sudden come out and be so excited about your freedom, but then realize the world is not what you knew it to be.
Right. Yeah. It was scary. It was really
Yeah.
scary. And, if it wasn't for my best friend at that time pushing me, I would have stayed isolated, but
Yeah.
she pushed me to get behind the wheel of a car again, to, find a job,
Yeah.
and, supported me through the whole thing. So
Okay. So I want to transition now to Recover Out Loud.
recover out loud.
And this is how we got to know each other.
Absolutely.
And I know. And I think John has a picture he wants to put up real quick, just to show of your group, which I love so much. You guys, so one thing I haven't said to you, okay, John, you can take it down. I love your pictures every week because you always have like a different pose and there's someone's different hair and all the things. Like I love it so much. So tell us what Recover Out Loud is.
Okay, so Recover Out Loud is just so you know, there are so many Recover Out Loud meetings, and we call it ROL. Okay, so that's what most people know us as.
Yeah.
I had my best friend that had pushed me, passed away of cancer. And I went to a very dark spot when she passed away. And I stumbled upon ROL. Actually, my ex-husband was in the reentry program in Johnson County, and he was going to the ROL meetings. And I decided I needed to start going to some meetings again. And I fell in love with ROL. So ROL is a different type of recovery meeting. We make topics and we talk about stuff with our recovery, but it's not so isolated like AA is and NA is. There's no cross talking allowed, right? There, you have to be quiet. You can't, if somebody asks a question, you really can't help them with it. But with ROL, we can. We make topics and we have discussions about different scenarios of what all of us have been through.
So is it similar to AA or Al-Anon or that kind of thing where you're going through certain steps, or are you picking that topic and that's what you talk about that night and then it's something different the next week?
Right. That's basically what we do. So like I tried to, we usually typically have about 4 topics. We do an icebreaker. We do something just to kind of break the monotony of a hard day and just try to get people to relax. We also go live on the ROL Facebook page while we're doing our meetings. But if somebody's uncomfortable with being on the camera, then, I'll just kind of screen it down to where they're not seen, but they can be heard.
Right.
And so I have tried putting steps in there, but we're not our thing is we don't care how you're doing it as long as you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. It's the goal of ROL to provide a recovering active community that utilizes emotion and connection to bond, heal, and live. I've said that so many times I can say
that. Can you say that again? One more time. Say that one more time.
Well, we utilize the power, emotion, and connection to bond, heal, and live.
I love that so much. And so you guys are really bonding as a group. And
we are
helping each other live life.
Yes.
But I also want to say, and I know you would say this probably too, but people don't have to come every week. Like they can show up and they can be there for a day, for a meeting and then not show. So it's not something that you have to commit to regularly. How would you say that works if people don't commit to it regularly?
As long as they're still going to meetings, I'm good.
Yeah.
I fell in love with ROL so much that I wanted to bring it to Indy because we have one in Brown County. There's one in 2 meetings in Franklin, one in Columbus, Shelbyville, Edinburgh. And, I'm like, Indy is so big.
Yeah.
They need a ROL meeting up here.
Yeah.
And so that was my whole thing is I'm like, I love it so much. And I'm so faithful to ROL that I really wanted to bring it to Indy.
Yeah. So that's how we met.
Yes.
And you were looking for a place to host these meetings. And like I said at the very beginning of the show, this is one of our missions with the Mars Hill Art Center to be able to provide resources to our community. And this is a huge resource because we have a lot of addiction in our community. I would say to anyone in Indianapolis who knows someone that might need this as a resource, you don't have to live in our neighborhood to come here. You can
Right.
come from any part of town. But Monday nights
At
at
7
7,
o'clock.
yeah. And in this room that you see behind
Absolutely.
me, yeah, yeah, it's in this picture. It's set up for crafts, not ROL, but yeah. So you guys have access to our space, and it's a safe place for people to come and to talk and to open up and to heal and recover from those addiction wounds.
And
So
it doesn't necessarily have to be about drugs either. It could be whatever addiction you have.
Yeah,
We're
that
there.
was going to be my next question,
Yes.
Melissa.
Sorry.
Well, because I figured that. I mean, I think everyone has some level of addiction to something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a substance.
Right.
So, yeah. So I think what you're doing is just absolutely amazing. We're so grateful that we have the space for you to host something like this. So I want to switch back just real quick to Goodwill. Any other things about Goodwill that you want to plug on this show? Any resources or things for the community that you would think people would want to know about?
People need to know how Goodwill treat their employees.
Yeah.
They will do anything that they could absolutely do to help see their employees succeed.
Yeah.
Right. They do not want to set them up for failure.
Yeah.
So, and I can give you an example of something that happened when I was still fresh in my recovery. When when Central and Southern Indiana Goodwills merged together, they brought country music to our stores, and country music is a huge trigger for me, right?
Okay.
I was the only manager working the entire Sunday, and country music was playing as soon as I walked in the door. And I just literally started crying. Oh. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't know what. I called my son. I'm just like, I want to get high.
Yeah.
I said, he helped walk me through the day. The very next day, my regional manager happened to come in, and I explained to him what had happened. Within 10 minutes of him being there, they had the country music taken off of my store.
Oh, wow.
So it didn't play anymore, because if you need to get your diploma, they will help you get into the Excel centers. They are all about seeing us succeed as a person and in our community than setting us up for failure.
Yeah, I love that. I think so many people are confused by the purpose behind Goodwill and the resources that they offer. And I just have always been a fan.
Yeah. So me too.
Yeah, good. All right. So I'm going to just kind of wrap this up real quick. Anything else about ROL that you want to share with our viewers?
ROL is a great program. We also have like an RFIT program. They have softball teams. They have volleyball teams. We get together as a family to go to when they turned downtown purple for Recovery Month. There were several of them. A whole bunch of them then went to there. We went to Float for Recovery. Our thing is we want to show you that sobriety can be fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to be high to have fun.
Yeah.
We went to Float for Recovery, and I did the zip line twice.
Oh my goodness.
It's just getting together and being with the like-minded people that understand where we're at, and learning how to live in society, and, is just amazing.
Well, I just appreciate you so much. And to be able to create a space like that for people to be able to come and share their aches and pains, and then give them resources to help recover from those things, I think is just a beautiful thing. And as a community, my hope is that people will watch shows like this or learn about programs like this and realize people are all going through junk, right?
Yes.
We don't always have perfect days every day, and give people grace, and the fact that you are offering a space like this to help people be able to move beyond that and deal with those triggers, like hearing the country music and things like that, is just a really beautiful thing. So my last question for you is, what would you say the phrase "do something Indy" means to you?
Do something Indy for me, and I hashtag this on all my ROL events.
Yeah.
Do something Indy means let's make Indy better.
Yeah.
For me, it's the addicts that are out there still suffering, and people need to look at the addicts and not, I know there's this thing called tough love, right?
Yeah.
But not all the time is that a good thing to do.
Yeah.
You need to love that person and let them know that there's support. Take them to church with you.
Yeah.
Show them the things that you need to do. Help get them to a meeting, because sometimes that's the thing that they're missing is they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Reach out to people. There's resources. I sent you a list of all kinds of places that felons can work.
You did.
And I get those from other places that I then help our mission coaches with.
Yeah.
We just need to love the people in our area and love our families and stop pushing them away.
Yeah. Amen to that, man. Because I say all the time, we all put our pants on the same way. We're all living life from a different perspective, but we're all human, and we should all love each other and help each other. And so those employers, I can't tell you, since you sent me that, I sent that out 4 times in like a week or less than 2 weeks. Because I think everyone deserves that second chance, and maybe even a third chance, I mean, because we all mess up. We all fall back into those old patterns. And I think we all need to be given a little bit of help every now and then. So I just cannot say thank you enough for what you're doing and for being a partner with us at the Art Center. And
we would really love to have them come to Fresh Fire Bible Church.
Yes. And I think they commented.
They did.
Yes.
I go to that church. So,
Yes. Well, okay. So for those that might not know, so behind that wall that you see in my background on that side
where the red door is.
Yeah. But on the other side of the red door and over on the other side of the building, we have a space back there that Fresh Fire Bible Church rents from us, and they are a relatively new church. And when they say Fresh Fire, I mean, they are on fire, and they're serving our community, and they're just doing a lot of great work. And so, yes, come visit Fresh Fire Bible Church in the heart of Mars Hill. And they are being led by former addicts as well. I mean, these people have been through their own life challenges, come out on the other side, and have a fire for the Lord as a result. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I don't want to be remiss in leaving that out, because that's a big part of your story too.
It is.
So, well, Melissa, thank you so much. Everything that you're doing is just so inspiring, and keep sharing your story. I would encourage you, any opportunity you get, to share it elsewhere, as nerve-wracking as it may be.
People need to know that there is hope, and that they can do this,
Yes. Yeah. And they can move beyond their circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a firm believer in that God uses everything, even all the junk, and if you can come out of it on the other side and be able to help someone else in the process afterwards, then it's all for good.
Yes.
Right. So, like my dad says, I'm going to end this show with this Bible verse, Romans 8:28. He always says, remember that 3-letter word, all. And we know that in all things, God works for the good who love him, who are called according to his purpose. And the word all is the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Absolutely.
So, All right. Melissa, thank you so much. It's
Thank you.
Just a joy. And I will see you probably very soon.
Absolutely.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Johnny, take